Welcome to Cut the Crop, keeping you in the know about everything you grow. Researchers, growers and other interesting folk delivering insights and information on topics ranging from agronomy to profitability. Brought to you by the Foundation for Arable Research.
Hello and welcome to Cut the Crop. I'm your host Anna Heslop, and today our guest is Dr Sagi Katz from Agmatics. Agmatics is a data management and analytics company that FAR is working with at present. So welcome, Sagi.
Thank you very much, Anna. Great to be here in New Zealand. Thank you for inviting me.
Sagi is going to talk to us about how technology, and particularly artificial intelligence, can help you to use digital information or data that's already being collected on your farm to improve productivity and profit. And heads up, I know nothing about this, so I'm asking all of the questions from a place of I'm really interested, I want to find out more, but I don't really get it. So anyway, Sagi is the expert. He's an expert in ag data, and he recognises that most farmers are not because they're experts at farming. So we're going to start right at the start. When we're talking about farm information or farm data, what are we talking about? Where is this information? Where do I find it?
Well, it's a great question. Basically, everything that you do in the farm as a person, when you're trying to do it, it's an input for your operations. Everything that you do will affect your profitability. So any type of action that you do in the field is basically data that should be preserved in a way that you can reuse it to extract insights for your operation in the farm.
Okay, so that's anything from keeping an old-fashioned written diary, but we're talking digital data. So that's the next step.
Correct. You guys mostly have machinery. You have irrigation systems. You have different logs of stuff you did in the farm. All of those, when you combine them together, becoming a comprehensive look at your operation, which you can reuse in order to improve your profitability.
So here's a question.
Good.
What is the value of the data or information that farmers are collecting right now, and going into the future, how is that going to increase? How might that be used?
It's a good question. I think farmers' data or farmers' operation or farmers in general is a small business. Any business today preserve his data in a way that will allow his business to grow. So I would say farmers today needs to be aware on the way that they collect data, on the way that they create data in order to increase their operation in the future. And it's not necessarily that this data will be going out to other people, being used against them, but for their own operation, highly important to see that you're improving, that you're using the data in order to build the basic foundation, okay, to build your business stronger, more stability or more resilience.
So some of this data can probably answer questions as to why something was especially good or especially bad in one season when you don't think you've done anything different?
Correct. And usually we don't rely on data to be data proven. A lot of the times we just have a hunch. Right? We did something differently. We have a hunch this worked better. And it may take us 3, 4, 5 years until we really understand what's affecting what as a farmer. But actually using data will shorten this time, will allow you to get faster to the ability to be more resilient.
And so the technologies or packages or products are coming into effect now that will help with processing that data and helping recognize those patterns or understanding the results of activities.
Yes, definitely. Farmers will keep on doing farming if they will have the ability to share certain amount of data from their operation in order to get professional support on how to analyze this data. Definitely the business will grow and be more resilient.
So we're not asking the farmers to be the data experts. They're the data collectors.
first of all, the data creators. They decide when to go out with their tractor. They decide when to go out and harvest. They decide when to irrigate. Sometimes they rely on data. Sometimes they rely on experts. Sometimes they rely on IoT, on different sensors in order to take action. And sometimes it's their gut hunch, and definitely they're the data creators.
Okay, so they create the data, they save it somewhere.
Correct.
And the next step, and more so as we move forward with these developing technologies, is that they pass it on to someone who can help them make the most of it.
Correct. I totally agree.
Okay, so I've got some irrigation data over here. I've got some ag chem data of what I've been applying over here. I've got some moisture meters in a paddock that's data over there. I might have a weather station. All of this information is in different places, may or may not be saved in different formats.
Yeah.
What you're talking about is a way of pulling all that together and using it to help make good decisions.
Yeah. So Agmatic works with agronomists, with the trusted advisors. Usually those guys will have the ability to combine the different data from the different domains and the different location. Allowing them to have the data will allow better data analytics that will give you results which are tailor-made to each and every one of the farmer's field.
Okay, so we're not talking about a DIY option. Do you know DIY? Do-it-yourself option. That's a good New Zealand term. We're not talking a DIY option. It's about making sure you've got that data and sharing it with someone who does know how to use it to help you.
And this communication between trusted advisor and a farmer is a very unique one that needs to be preserved. And it's very unique to agriculture. Maybe almost similar to the one we have in medicine with your doctor.
So that's actually an interesting analogy. So what you're saying is that if I go to the doctor and I say, look, I'm a bit worried about this and I'm feeling like this or that hurts, I'm asking you to take that information, process it, and come back with a diagnosis and a treatment of some kind.
Yeah, prescription. Yeah, correct. So that will be very similar in that sense to medicine. It's not like you're sick, but you do want to do better in your operation. You do want to increase your ROI. You do want to make sure you stand with the environmental regulations and not losing money over operation. Therefore, you go to your trusted advisor and you use his knowledge and his wider view and approach based on data in order to gain those ag practices or to get those ag practices.
So it's taking a whole broad range of information and combining it and pulling out what's relevant for a set environment.
Correct.
So we're talking about artificial intelligence here.
Yeah.
Okay, big scary term. Nobody really knows what it is. How do you define artificial intelligence in this situation? Not just asking ChatGPT to summarize an email for you. Is it a computer turned into a brain? What is it?
The artificial intelligence will allow researchers and farmers to analyze a large amount of data very easily. Very, very easily. Why? Because the human brain is able to capture certain amount of data in certain amount of structure. But computer could basically analyze it in any structure, and the size of the data is really, really big.
However, the artificial intelligence has to be trained on the correct information in the first place. So it's not just making stuff up or hallucinating.
Correct. And this is exactly where research and ground truth data is coming into account. So when you do research, I mentioned before, you give inputs and outputs. That means that the output is a real measurement that somebody did. It could be a soil sample, a leaf sample. It could be data taken from the machinery, which is being collected by devices. So this is true data that AI is being trained on, and it's not just scabbing the web in order to find a solution which is not necessarily fits to New Zealand farmers' needs.
So in your case with Agmatics, it's scanning data which is owned by or has been ingested by the tool?
Yeah, correct. So any research that being done in agriculture, which is related to New Zealand or New Zealand environment, any data that is being collected from the machine, from soil moisture, IoTs or samplers, anything that the farmer will be reporting and could be validated is a very good input for the AI to learn more on the outcome of the agricultural operation.
And this is quite immediate, so it can allow for immediate actions and decision making?
Yeah, it should allow immediate actions, making agriculture more precise, increasing your ROI as a farmer. Because the end game is not necessarily to have more yield. You want to increase your ROI. Sometimes you're in the limit of your yields and you just need to reduce your inputs. And sometimes you need to put the right input in order to increase your yield in a certain way that increase your return on investment in a specific field in your farm.
Is this future technology or is this happening now? Is this something that growers should be aware of right now?
I think growers should be aware. I think that growers will get to know this type of technology as they work more closely with their agronomists. Commercial or non-commercial, they're all going to start using that in the near future. We are already working with big inputs and food companies around the world, creating a lot of different analysis. So I think the awareness of the usage of data is the most important, not necessarily the practice of it. The practice will come as you work together with your experts.
Okay, so step 1 is the awareness of the usefulness.
Yeah.
Step 2 is gathering that data somehow.
Correct.
And then step 3 is handing it over to someone that you trust who is going to use it to cut. And they'll be looking at your data against models that have come out of research or nationally, even or regionally or nationally, and coming back and saying the research showed this here, your farm conditions are very like that, thus this could work for you.
And not necessarily saying I got more yield or I'm more profitable. It's not only about that, it's also about maintaining healthy soil, for example. So if you want to keep your operation for the long run, soil health is very, very important. So you want to make sure that in the comparable area, you're more or less like the rest of the farmers, not lower than that.
And that's the information that your advisor will be drawing in from all around.
Correct.
Okay, so I guess as a stepping out from that, you're with FAR for a week or so, training the FAR researchers on how to use that crop management software, on how to use crop trial management software. What value is that going to add to our growers, to our levy payers, because that's who we do all this work for. So it's not just about making life easier for the researchers. What's the broader benefit?
First of all, making the researchers' life easier is also important. Why? Because today they still put a lot of effort into spending time on the data. And when they spend time on the data, organizing it, curating it, they don't spend time in educating the farms with their research outcomes, and they don't do more investigation on the data. So first of all, giving them more time will allow them to focus more on how to extract important insights from the data and spend more time with the farmers in education and do knowledge transformation from the research to the field level.
So that's a real time efficiency thing.
Very, very, very important. It's a time efficiency, and our tool do it very, very well. Second thing is reduce human mistakes. We are all humans.
So what the artificial intelligence is doing in there is joining lots and lots of dots in every direction, and that's what you're talking about, that this affects that, affects that, affects that, which is quite hard for the human brain to process, whereas the artificial intelligence can do that really quickly.
It can do it quickly. It's not replacing the researcher. It's really important to say, in the end of the day, you have the human intelligent, you have the human expertise, which a lot of it is coming from things that you cannot computerize, but it saves a lot of time. So you can do a lot of the work for those researchers much faster. And then the researcher will come and look at it, validate, and digest it in a way that farmers could use it easily.
But there's a gap there. So there's the gap between the FAR research on their FAR crop trials, and then how does that crop trial information get linked to a farmer's information?
I believe that in the near future, it will all be in a digitized way that will be really available for the farmer, easily available for the farmer, And we already see that in different places, that researchers submit the research, analyze it, and make it very cohesive to understand for farmers and apply it on a digital platform. So when a farmer goes in, you could say, I'm working in this area, not specifically the field, but I'm working in this area. And the digital platform say, okay, this area have this type of water, these types of soil, this type of operation. I can see all farmers around you. I would recommend you to go to this research and see the outcome, which are more likely to be relevant for your operation.
So the use of this technology and the benefits are just going to build over time. Yeah. I heard something yesterday that said that today's technology is as bad as it's ever going to get. So every day it's better.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of starting and seeing where it goes.
I think there is a level of market education I mentioned before. Just be aware that your data have value for you as a farmer, and think about how to preserve it into the future. Just be aware of this capability. Technology is coming to support you, and technology will always come with a person attached to it, which is an expert in this domain.
So you provide the information, they provide the expertise, and your farm will benefit.
Exactly.
Cool. Thank you very much, Sagi. Good luck with the work. And growers, I hope you're all keeping track of that information. And in the meantime, have a great day on the farm.
Thanks for tuning in to Cut the Crop, presented to you by FAR. If you'd like to know more about any of the topics discussed or have any suggestions for future topics, go to www.cutthecrop.co.nz.